Hi guys, this is Jian. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make fail-proof vanilla sponge cake. As you can see from my video, the cake is pretty bouncy and it's so moist and it's not overly sweet. It goes perfectly well with my Italian meringue buttercream. Here's the ingredient list. I prepared flour and baking powder together so you can sift them together. And one of the important ingredient is full-fat milk. Here I divide my sugar into 2 bowls and I'm adding 2 pinch of salt in 1 bowl. I also prepared my baking tin, which is 6-inch wide and 2-inch tall, and I put parchment paper liner inside my baking tin. I just used my baking tin and I traced the bottom and I cut it into a circle and I used it for my bottom. If you bake a lot, you can also buy the pre-cut parchment paper. And for the side part, you can measure it with your cake tin, roll out your parchment paper and measure the tin. And then you can cut it out and divide it into quarter. So I will fold into half and fold another half and then I will cut it out. Some of you might ask, can I skip the parchment paper? If you skip the parchment paper, the cake rim and edges will be a little bit more crispier. So if you want to have completely soft cake, I recommend you to use parchment paper. This bigger size bowl is for my egg yolk and the smaller size is for my meringue. Break the eggs and separate them into these 2 balls. I divided 162 grams of sugar into 2 bowls, so each bowls are 81 grams of sugar. One with the salt is for the egg yolk and the other is for the egg whites. I'm going to start the egg whites first by using my hand mixer. You can also use your stand mixer, but don't over whisk the egg whites. Once you see the foams, you can start adding the sugar. Add half of the sugar first, and once the color gets more lighter and more foamy, you can add the rest of the sugar. This is how I whisk the egg whites. I go slightly up and down and this really helps to raise the meringue. This is one of the important parts. You can still see the peak, but the meringue is still smooth and soft. Once you're done with the egg white, start whisking your egg yolks. I already poured the sugar into the egg yolk. Gently break the egg yolk and mix with the sugar and start whisking. Once the color turns light yellow and it turns a little bit fluffy, it means it's ready. First, add 1/3 of the meringue and gently mix into the egg yolk. By gently scraping the bowl and lifting up the batter, you'll mix the meringue and egg yolk evenly. Once the mixture is all blended in together, add flour and baking powder into the bowl, but make sure to sift them together, or also you can prepare it sifted. This is how I mix the batter. Gently lift up the batter from bottom to top and scrape out the bowl and mix all the mixtures together. When the flour is all mixed in, we have to microwave the butter for 30 seconds. Add small amount of batter into the butter and mix them well, and then pour into the batter. This is to prevent the butter separation, and this step actually really helps to incorporate all the ingredients together. Once the butter is all mixed into your batter, add half of the remaining meringue. Once you mixed halfway through, add milk and vanilla extract and mix them together. One of the important tips is mixing the bottom side batter together. You have to scrape the bottom part of the bowl and mix them together until you don't see any darker color yellow batter. Now the batter is ready, let's pour into the tin. I use a small amount of meringue from my meringue ball to stick the parchment paper together. This is very handy because then you don't have to worry about parchment paper touching your cake while you're pouring. This is one of my favorite tools. I use this right before pouring to my tin. I mix from the bottom to top and it's really easy to scrape all the batters. Divide it into two and pour into each tin. You can also use a scale to divide it equally. When you're ready, bake it for 35 minutes in 340 Fahrenheit. Depending on the amount of the batter in the tin, you might have to bake it longer. If you are using a taller tin, you have to bake at least 45 minutes. So check in between 35 to 40 minutes. We are done baking today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please write me in below comments. If you enjoyed watching this video, please subscribe my channel. I'll see you in the next video.